Hi, back again. It's Monday. So, another day we'll be doing The Mandalorian, but no Flash because there was no Flash last week. So, just The Mandalorian. And I'll be talking about John Wick. I saw John Wick yesterday. And also some news about Loki. Some sad news about Loki. Um, but first, so I saw John Wick 4 in the theater. And as always, I saw an early. I went to an early show, so it was like an 11 o'clock show. Yeah, it was an 11 a.m. show. I went to a different theater than last time. So this theater, it was a dine-in theater. This theater was a little more. It had more people in it, but because it was a dine-in theater with reclinable seats, the people were far enough away from me. Like there was only one person in my row, and the rows were far apart from each other. So I didn't really care about the people behind me, and I was able to recline in my seat, use my scarf as a little throw blanket and just sit back and enjoy myself. Um, and it was nice. Gotta say, the set pieces in this film were amazing. They just just jam packed with action. Just when you think that they've done enough, there's more. There's always more. And there were some shots and stunts that were like some special shots that they did, some special like overhead shots that they did that was just it's really they did this one shot that was like overhead that sort of followed him throughout this house. And it was an amazing sequence. Some of these sequences were amazing, and it was not the entire sequence. It was one sequence out of a much larger sequence. But yes, I saw it yesterday. I Because of all of the films that's been coming out this month, I've had to see everything opening weekend. So I had to see, Shazam opening weekend, had to see John Wick opening weekend. Dungeons and Dragons is next weekend, have to see that. Although I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna see that because C2E2 is also next weekend. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. It's the changing of the seasons. Something in the air is choking me. Oh, but yeah, so C2E2 is next weekend. So I'm gonna have to juggle going to that and going to see Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Especially because every theater that I look for downtown has just a bunch of afternoon afternoon showings. And Lord knows I like to go in the morning. I would prefer to go like a Friday morning, but they don't have any Friday morning showings. So I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. We're gonna do both. We're gonna see Dungeons and Dragons. We're gonna go to C2E2. We're gonna have a good time next weekend. Dungeons and Dragons. right now has a high critical, and it has a high critical score, like with Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't look at Metacritic, but it has a high Rotten Tomato score and it has a high audience score. I think it's in the 90s. I think it's in the 90s for both. If it's not in the 90s, in the high 80s, but I think it's in the 90s for both. So, so although I pay much more attention to the audience score than the critic score, because sometimes the critics be tripping. But can't wait for Dungeons and Dragons. So we're gonna figure that out. But yeah, John Wick was awesome. You have to go see that. It was long. It was about 2 hours and 40 minutes. But because it was nonstop action, you didn't feel it. I wasn't sitting up there going like, oh my God, how much longer is this movie? I was feeling for him because my goodness, all this fighting he was doing. But but it's a good movie. High audience score, high critic score, it's an automatic win. Critics do be tripping. Yes, they do. They do. Okay. I got news on Loki. So let me share my screen. Uh-oh. What happened? There we go. Okay. So Marvel just removed Tom Hiddleston's Loki TV show from the schedule indefinitely. It's bad news for Loki TV show fans as Marvel Studios has scrapped the summer 2023 release of one of the franchise's most anticipated series. Loki Season 1 became the third streaming show in Marvel Phase 4. Beginning with WandaVision, Disney Plus originals came thick and fast, at least from a Marvel standpoint, with The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Ms. Marvel, and She-Hulk, Attorney at Law joining the roster of the TV shows and Kevin Feige's Marvel Cinematic Universe. As more fans turn to streaming due to the industry-wide shutdown of movie theaters across the world, Marvel Studios opted to saturate Disney Plus with what felt like an endless stream of content. Let's not forget that Kate Shortland's Black Widow should have commenced the fourth chapter of the MCU. Instead, it debuted 6 months after the phase began, and even then, the spy thriller released simultaneously on Disney Plus through the now-defunct Disney Premier Access service. For Loki, the show from Michael Waldron, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and director Kate Herron broke Disney Plus streaming records and ushered in a shift in release days for all new originals, where new episodes used to air weekly on Fridays. Loki's success on Wednesdays marked a big move for Disney Plus. Starring Tom Hiddleston as the titular god of mischief, Waldron and Herron's 6-episode series marked the first major moment the multiverse concept and its rules were introduced in the MCU canon, with new factions like the Time Variance Authority and the introduction of variants and the Sacred Timeline. Loki also starred Gugu, I cannot pronounce her name, Gugu Mbatha-Raw as Ravonna Renslayer, Tara Strong as Miss Minutes, Owen Wilson as Mobius in Mobius, Wunmi Masaku as Hunter B-15, Sophia DiMartino as Sylvie, and Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror variant, He Who Remains. Okay, let's skip to... Majors return in the widely panned inaugural Phase 5 movie Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumanium as Kang, with a post-credits scene of the third Ant-Man movie from director Peyton Reed showcasing a new clip of Hiddleston Wilson and Majors as Victor Timely in Loki Season 2. Loki's TV show gets a disappointing update. While anticipation was high for the return of the Loki TV show, fans will seemingly have to wait even longer for more of the beloved anti-hero. Per new reports and the change on the Disney Originals website, the release of the sophomore Loki season as summer 2023 has been ditched, with only a coming soon in its place. Loki Season 2 is also set to include recent Academy Award winner I can't pronounce his name. Ki Hai Kwan. So let's just say it's Ki Hai Kwan. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. This move comes after the second season of Marvel's animated television series, What If, also shifted to coming soon after long being tapped for early 2023. Then just a couple of months ago, it was reported that Echo, Ironheart, and Agatha Coven of Chaos had all shifted out of 2023, the latter being rumored to have been pushed to 2025. This only left Loki Season 2 and Secret Invasion, Samuel L. Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Emilia Clarke, Olivia Colman on the calendar for this year. The upheaval of streaming content comes as newly reinstated Disney CEO Bob Iger stated the profitability of the House of Mouse's streaming service was top of mind. CFO Christine McCarthy said on the latest earnings call that the streamer would be profitable by the end of fiscal 2024. In tandem with Iger's sentiments, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige said the superhero studio would pull back on the volume of content being distributed to Disney Plus. And it seems they have scaled back quite a bit. As said above, what was once a year with a projected 6 shows releasing has been stripped down to just 1 per these reports. The element of superhero fatigue has been floating ever since Phase 4 really got underway, as projects received a lukewarm reception or underperformed at the box office. Fans and critics of the MCU feel dragged down by the oversaturation of content. Only Spider-Man No Way Home really made a significant dent in the box office. And even though Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness wrote off the success of the Spidey threequel, it wasn't the smash hit many expected, at least in hindsight. So while fans were teased with the Loki Season 2 clip at the end of Quantumanium, they may have to wait quite a while longer before they find out what truly happens in the next chapter of the multiverse saga. So what this sounds like so that was some unexpectedly terrible news. Well, see, what this sounds like to me is Bob Iger is coming in and cleaning house. He's saying Disney Plus is not profitable. And they're probably, because these shows are very high quality, which means they're spending a lot of money to produce these shows. They're very highly produced because they're Marvel. Marvel is not going to cut back their money to produce a show that's going to fit in with the rest of their phases and, you know, their universe. Because even though they're on TV, they're still a part of their cinematic universe. So they want to make cinematic TV. And Bob Iger is like, not with my Disney Plus money. So they pulled all of that off because they're saying it's too expensive to make all these shows. So they're now having to rethink their strategy, whether or not they're going to have to cut back on budgets, cut back on shows, or maybe make these shows movies. Because Kevin Feige can make these shows movies. But, but with Disney Plus, there's a whole other, with Bob Iger back, they're determined that Disney Plus will be profitable by the end of 2024, which means everything has to change now. So we probably won't see things happening until 2025. 2025 is when you'll start seeing things probably come back onto the schedule, if it does. This is the way. Well, I always officially rep DC. I watch Marvel. I'm a fan of Marvel, but I'm a DC girl at heart. So I'm like, it's DC's time. It's their time. Yay. So while Marvel is restructuring, it's time for DC to get their shit together and come out with a whole bunch of excellent stuff. And I think with the content that they've previously put out, that they definitely have it in them to do it. It's just now that there's going to be a more cohesive plan in place, which is going to make it even better. So I really, truly believe in what's going to happen for DC. Yeah, rest in peace, Willow. I am sad. I am sad over Willow. But yeah, so they're probably going to hold off putting shows back on the schedule until 2025. So coming soon will be coming in a couple of years. We already had to wait 2 years for Loki. Now it's like we're going to be waiting for 4. And I really truly believe if Loki comes back, it's going to come back with a slashed budget. It's a slashed budget. So they're not those big, huge set pieces they had, where they were on those different planets, and they're not going to have those different things like where like they were on one planet and it was imploding, it was getting ready to destruct, or at the end where they were trying to get through to He Who Remains, and they had to fight I forget what the thing was called, but like kind of like the Nothing. Kind of like the Nothing from the Never-Ending Story, where they had to fight the Nothing. That was a huge set piece. They're not going to have huge set pieces like that anymore. It's going to be way toned down, which is going to be sad because a show about magic needs magic. I mean, he's the god of mischief. They're the god of mischief. They use magic. You need magic. Same with WandaVision. She's a witch. She's going to need to use magic. Same with which is the Covenant of Chaos, but they probably got their budget slashed. But they were already shooting, so I wonder what happened with them. They probably pulled them. They were getting ready to shoot, unless Bob Iger pulled them and was like, "Ho ho ho! Before you roll cameras, let's look at these budgets. Let's look at these budgets real quick before you start rolling." Because if they pulled them, they must have stopped them from rolling and pulled them budgets. Because there's no reason to pull them from the schedule if they've already started shooting. You have a show, you might as well show it. They must have pushed them back. This is what the what do you call it? You have to interpret what they're saying. When somebody new comes in, a new CEO comes in, and they're like, "We're going to make this profitable," that means they're going through and they're slashing budgets. Whenever a new CEO comes in claiming to make something profitable, they're going through and they're slashing budgets. They're slashing money wherever they can find it. They're slashing budgets. Wait. You're getting Loki on the Sesame Street set. Basically. So it's gonna be Loki and Big Bird and Oscar. But I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do with King the Conqueror. He's also a magician. He's also deals with magic, but whatever. All this magic and time variance and going back in time, but whatever. They're gonna have to rethink. They're gonna have to rethink the concepts of their shows. With a slash budget, they're gonna have to rethink the concepts of their shows. So, and this is all speculation. But for me, whenever a CEO says, "I'm going to make something profitable by the end of such and such," that just means slash budgets. Okay. So now, Grogu show. So, it was a whole episode about going to get this little kid who got took off by this overgrown eagle. That was the whole episode. This overgrown eagle came. So I guess I don't understand why they on a planet that they're constantly fighting these oversized creatures. It's either something coming out of the water trying to eat them, something flying in the air trying to eat them. They couldn't find no other place where they're not like the prey. But this was the best place they could find outside of Mandalore. But because they said that this thing constantly take their kids all the time. But right before the little what do they call them? The little youngling got caught. Mandalore had Grogu. He's like, "Okay, come on, you about to go fight one of these other younglings. You need to start training." And I'm like, This he's like a foot off the ground. How is he gonna fight? But he had him fight with darts. And of course, the youngling got in 2 shots, and Grogu was like, like he didn't know what to do, like the baby that he is. And the Mandalorian, he had no pity for him. He was like, you know what to do. I seen you. You could do this. So before the third shot can get off, he started flipping around like Yoda, flipping back and forth, and then went bloop, 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 knocked off all 3 shots at the same time, and won the fight. So, wait. It hasn't been. I'm still waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for something to happen. I get that the Mandalorian is like, okay, you my kid now, and I want to pass this down to you, but how's he gonna fit these ears under a helmet? How they gonna they gonna make him a special helmet that accommodates these ears? And he's a Jedi. Let him be a Jedi. Let him be a Jedi. That's because it is somebody throwing the doll around. That's all he is a puppet. He's a puppet. So they throwing the doll around. But it'd be so funny when he be walking fast, and he like trying to walk as fast as he can and don't be going nowhere. I don't know if it's one season too many. I just know I'm still waiting for something to happen. I don't know. I guess I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're trying to build something. Like, like they showed us, they did that whole episode where they did that detour into Coruscant, and of course, whatever, however you pronounce it, and showed us, that chick doing the little thing. So I'm like, okay, there's got to be some master plan. There's got to be some master plan that we're just not getting. That the Mandalorians are going to be involved with somehow. I I just I just wish something would happen, because the whole episode was going to go rescue this boy, and when they rescued him, she Bo-Katan left the party, because when they tried to go after him, but he went farther than their little packs. Their packs all gave out. They ran out of fuel, but she did the smart thing and went into her ship and followed them with her ship. And was able to go the whole way and see where they were. I'm like, maybe that's why they keep losing kids, because they keep following them with their little jetpacks instead of going into their ships to follow the eagle. But so she left the little party, and then when she got back, the woman made her own little army, and whatnot, made her arm replaceable armor, and then she told her about the the mythosaur, and the woman was so very condescending, like, yeah, of course you saw it. It's like you bathed in the living waters. When you bathe in the living waters, you're gonna see anything. Of course you did. It's like, so you don't know whether or not this woman truly believed her or if she's just being condescending. But the Jedi flashbacks is another thing. Because it's like, so, Grogu remembering where he came from. So it's like, why show us how Grogu's little backstory, unless that's gonna come back around. So that needs to come back around. So maybe that dude is gonna, like, maybe that dude or what happened to that dude is gonna come back around, because eventually that dude must have died because he was by himself at the beginning of season 1. So I don't know. So seeing more of Grogu's story, seeing that was interesting. So seeing how Grogu's story ties in, seeing how the Coruscant story ties in, and just getting them off this planet. It's just, I just want them off this planet. It's like they're just by these caves where, like, they're by this water where these things can come out and eat them. These things come out of the sky, can eat them. They just don't seem safe. It don't seem safe. Oh, we're 4 in. That was the 4th episode. That was the 4th episode. So if there's only 8 episodes, we're halfway through. We're halfway through. So that will be interesting. And what else? Oh, I was grateful for the explanation on how they eat with their helmets on. So they're allowed to take their helmets off to eat. They make it sound like such a thing to take your helmet off. Then if you take your helmet off every day to eat, then what does it matter that he took his helmet off for the little Grogu? But they make it seem like you never take that helmet off, but they take it off to eat. They just don't take it off around other people. But I guess that's the thing. He took it off around other people. But so he showed other people his face, which I still don't understand the point of, but I guess that is their way. That is their creed. So there's not much to say about that episode. Not much happened. They brought she brought the little eagles back. I guess if they raise those eagles up, then they'll have something to protect them from the other animals that comes and tries to eat them. They'll have some creatures on their side to come and eat those other animals. Maybe since they'll have 3 of them. But this is far off in the future. So we will not be able to see the fruits of that decision in this season. So Yeah. Yeah. So I guess you're not supposed to take your helmet off around other people, but you can take it off when you're by yourself. So you always have to eat alone. You can never eat in the company of other people. And with as many Mandalorians as they are in those little caves, that's got to be a nuisance. You always have to go off and find some place to be alone to eat. And here's something that I just thought of. So the little youngling that they went to go rescue was one of the other Mandalorian's son. So what about sex? You don't take your helmet off to have sex? You have sex with the helmet on? That's strange and hot and sweaty. so so you can't take your helmet off, not even in the presence of the person that you're going to mate with. I need to know the answers to that question. Yeah, that's why she got to eat by the fire. Right. But the children had to come from somewhere. I mean, for some reason I thought the children were orphans. I just didn't think that they were. For some reason I thought the children were orphans that they picked up somewhere. I was not thinking that those were their children. I was not thinking that those were their children, but they're procreating. So I'm just like, are you procreating with the helmet on? Is it helmet on procreation? But so these are questions that I have about the Mandalorian. So that's all for this week. Um, I hope something happens next week. um, maybe we'll see something else on Coruscant. Maybe we'll see something else with that chick that rehabilitated Empire chick. So um, I shall be back Wednesday, and Wednesday, yeah, should be back Wednesday, and there should be a new episode of Superman and Lois and Gotham Knights. Although Gotham Knights has been really working my blood pressure because the tension is always high on that show. It's so high, it's working my blood pressure. But I'm gonna hang in there because it's only 13 episodes. We'll see how long I can hang in there and see how long it keeps my blood pressure up. I'm like, I need for y'all to release some of the tension at some point. It's just too the stakes are just through the roof. It's always so high. So high. Right. Man, oh, something. I was about to say Mando is an orphan, but I'm mixing him up with that other show, Andor. See, these shows, they're starting to run together. I'm and the Mandalorian Andor. It sounds too much the same. I can't skip scenes because I watch it live. I watch it live on TV. Although, if I start watching it 15 minutes into, if I start watching it 15 minutes into it, then I could probably forward some stuff so I could skip scenes. but um but I'm not gonna skip scenes. I'm not gonna skip scenes. But yeah, okay. So I will be back Wednesday. And we'll be talking about those shows and and there will be another video on Friday. I'm not sure what it is yet, but there will be a video on Friday, even though I'm going to be at C2E2, but there'll be a video Friday. So I shall see you Wednesday. Thank you for watching.